Good morning, YouTube. It is 6 a.m. in the great state of Texas on a Friday, so that means bonus video. So what we got here is a old burnt piece of firewood that I had stuck in the backyard and decided, you know what would be a cool idea? Let's try to make a bowl out of this semi-flat, very small, very old, burnt piece of firewood that I think is oak. Maybe. I'm not even sure. But you can see here, it's flaked up, it's crusty, it's old. Gotta stick a knife in it because it's done. Now here's the horrible part. Don't ever cut oblong pieces of wood on your miter saw, because sometimes you can get a little kickback, and that is just not a very smart idea. But I went ahead and did it anyway because that's the only way I could cut this piece of wood relatively fast. And this will be the piece that we're going to end up putting the faceplate on and turning into a bowl. But before we do that, we want to just clean it up, get all the bark off it as much as possible, because you can see there from the miter saw cut, just dust everywhere. Absolutely just a old piece of wood that is going to make a horrible mess. So best thing to do when you're kind of trying to do this is scrape all this off, and you can see here we're getting a lot of material worked down just with the chisel there, and now we have enough room to put the faceplate on. So if you guys have watched my channel for the past couple of months, you guys know I've had a real struggle putting on faceplates. Now here I am doing what I usually do, lining everything up, drilling some guide holes, and just having a time putting on this faceplate. So here I am with the drill, just trying to get this wood, figured out. So had to come back, hit it with the impact driver, and close enough is essentially what I said there, because man, that was the hardest part of this whole video. But we got the faceplate on, and now we put it onto the lathe. Lots of shaking, lots of wobble, but putting the faceplate on seems to be my big struggle recently. But that's why I think it's oak, because that seems to be the wood of choice that I've had a lot of trouble just getting the faceplate on. But once we did that, now we can just start our regular project here, just working down the material. And when you're doing this, obviously there's so much wobble because it's uneven, but it's a very small piece of wood. And even for that small piece of wood, there was still a lot of just feedback on the lathe and on the chisels. But once we got it worked down to kind of this, bowl shape here, it kind of evens out a little bit. So all I'm doing is taking small little strokes, just trying to get a feel for what this bowl is going to essentially be. And it has that deep V shape as well. So I'm thinking, okay, try to save as much material as possible, but now I'm just debating, how much live edge do I want there to be, essentially. And once you start getting the wood worked down, you can see the different grains coming out and those little wormholes and everything. So that's a cool little aesthetic portion of this bowl that I happen to like pretty good. So once we got to that part where, things stopped wobbling, now we're just going to make a little flat piece, and here I am kind of sizing up the chuck of just where I want it to be on the lathe. And here's a little bit different angle, trying to take a shallower approach to it, so that we can fit the actual chuck on there. And here I am thinking, you know what? Nope, not even close. So then we had to come back and just go a little bit deeper, just a little bit wider on it, and then try to take this faceplate off. Because if you guys have seen my older videos that I've been doing, I've had so much trouble taking the faceplate off because the screws pop. Maybe don't use an impact driver, maybe do a better job on my part. I'm not a very good woodworker, so sometimes it just tends to happen a little bit. But we got the faceplate off, no issue. I'm like, thank God. So now we start the dirty process of gouging out the bowl. And you can see just all that material coming back, just dust and dirt. And the horrible part is I didn't wear my respirator, which was very stupid of me. I should have done that. And here I am just like inhaling this wood and this burnt portions of it. Just don't do that. Just wear a respirator. I should have known better. But me thinking that this is a smaller project, that I'm not going to have a real issue with it, but I totally did. And here we are. I'm pretty much at this point thinking I'm going to save this live edge, which I think looks really good. I'm just trying to get to a nice depth, and here I am just trying to clean it up. Not a whole lot of material left to work with on this one, so here I am just trying to judge how much of the lip of the bowl I need to take out. And the problem was that I was afraid that lip was just going to explode. You can see all the dust and the just pieces of this thing just coming off. So I'm like, okay, don't be too greedy with it. And then we got to a nice depth, and I'm like, okay, cool, cut your losses, don't try to be fancy. So simple sanding on this one. We went from 50 grit all the way up to 80, so didn't spend a whole lot of time doing this because I had an idea of what I wanted to do. So once we got the 50 grit down, most of the work already was kind of done, so I didn't have to worry about it. And there's my great camera work, and you guys got to see my shoulder and what that looked like. So once it was all done, you can see what this looks like here. Nice small little shallow little bowl, but you can just see the mess that is all over the workbench and everything. But I love the edge of this. That live edge look I think looks really, really good. And here's what I didn't inhale. It's an old piece of wood, used and abused. But we got a cool little bowl out of it. And you can see here we're just using regular wood wax on this one. Just really makes that grain of the wood pop, and that just looks absolutely beautiful. Love that. Once we did this, I was like, we got a winner here. So here we are, just polishing this up, trying to bring back the moisture of that wood as much as possible. But it looks really cool. It looks really awesome. You can see just all the char coming off of that that's still left on there. But really good looking bowl in my opinion. For just a little bonus project, I think this looks really good. And what I decided to do with the live edge, because I want this to be a functional piece of wood here, is take some 15-minute epoxy and then just essentially put that on the outer edge of the bowl and just kind of like seal in the wood a little bit. So whoever gets this bowl can use it and not have to worry about the char portion of it coming off. But overall, really happy how this looks, and here we are just cleaning it up. Nothing too fancy. Had this been a bigger piece, I might have just used some regular epoxy, but this is what it looks like close up. Absolutely beautiful. I love how this looks. One of my more favorite projects. Sorry, I'm doing this commentary at 3:45 in the morning, so I don't know what I'm saying. But overall, happy how it looked. Really love the little wormholes and everything. That live edge is beautiful. It just gives it a lot of character. So hope you guys like this. Hope you guys are doing good this Friday. And there will be an Easter project. Alright, so project is done. And look at this little guy. Not too bad. Glad we got something out of this burnt bowl. It looks really cool. I like the burnt kind of aspect. That's why I left it on the edge there, as you can see that. But overall, really happy how this turned out. Not a perfect edge. I think that adds something to it. The epoxy will set up and seep in there and hopefully seal those. But overall, really happy how this turned out. There's the bottom of it there. Just a small little dish. Put your car keys or whatever in there. And overall, pretty happy. Minus, wear your respirator, people. I'm sure I went over that in the commentary. But man, that was a mistake. Overall, pretty happy how this thing turned out. I think this is red oak, I want to say. Maybe, probably, more than likely. If you went back, way back, like 6, 7, 8 months ago, I did a bunch of bowls with epoxy with that wood. But really like how that looks, and glad that we were able to salvage something out of it. And we got a bonus project out of it. So anyway, you guys are watching this Friday morning. It is currently 8:10 on Thursday, the 28th of March. And yes, there will be an Easter project, in case anybody's wondering. So let me go edit this video, and then I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.